New satellite images just caught a giant, stealthy flying wing sitting in plain sight at China's Malan test base. About a 137-foot span, crank-kite shape, single nose intake, and rear exhaust. This isn't a mock-up. It looks like the next step in the CH-7 lineage toward high-altitude, long-endurance sensing. We'll break down what the photo proves and why this quiet reveal matters for future airspace awareness. A high-resolution satellite image reveals a very dark flying wing aircraft parked at the end of a runway at Malan test base in Xinjiang. The airframe presents a classic cranked-kite planform, straighter inner wing panels that break into swept outer panels, with a single nose intake and a rear center exhaust aligned along the center body. Using runway features for scale, the wingspan is estimated at roughly 137 feet. Notably, the aircraft was photographed in broad daylight, rather than being rushed into a hangar ahead of predictable satellite overflights. That choice suggests a test tempo and confidence level consistent with ground runs, taxi work, or pre-flight preparations. Earlier in May 2025, a separate image captured an even larger low-observable flying wing outside a high-security hangar complex linked by an extended taxiway, evidence of purpose-built infrastructure for advanced testing. Read together, the May and the newer appearance point to more than one large flying wing program being exercised at the same base within months of each other. The newer aircraft appears smaller than the May Leviathan, but still lands firmly in HALE, high-altitude, long-endurance, territory by its span and proportions. Shape comparisons also help. A large CH-7, CH-7, flying wing reappeared publicly in late 2024, but the Malan airframe isn't a perfect match. You can see a longer and wider forward nose section and subtle changes in trailing edge sweep, chord, and wingtip geometry. Those refinements are typical when a design moves from show floor forms to flight representative articles that must balance signature control, internal volume for fuel and sensors, and stability at operating altitude. Why does the left in plain sight detail matter? Beyond the practical realities of outdoor testing, occasional open-air exposure can serve as a quiet signal, a tacit acknowledgement that the system exists without a formal unveiling. And this sighting doesn't sit in isolation. Throughout summer 2025, additional imagery and photographs pointed to other stealthy flying wings in China, some on the ground, some in the air, reinforcing the idea that Malan is one node in a broader, accelerating test ecosystem. The most careful read is that the Malan aircraft represents an evolution of the CH-7 lineage, tuned for stealthy, high-altitude, long-endurance sensing, with growth potential for communications relay and electromagnetic support functions. The architecture fits the brief. The cranked-kite layout blends low-observable shaping with high lift efficiency. The expanded nose volume implies space for multi-sensor apertures, and a single-engine arrangement supports endurance while simplifying signature management. This is not a small tactical drone. By span and proportions, it sits in HALE-class territory, with endurance measured in many hours on station. What roles does that unlock? Start with penetrating ISR, quietly carrying synthetic aperture radar modes for all-weather mapping, electro-optical/infrared sensors for classification, and electronic support receivers to geolocate emissions. Layered on top is network support, acting as a stealthy airborne relay so air, maritime, and ground units maintain a coherent real-time picture when satellites are constrained or terrain blocks line-of-sight links. With modular payload bays, later builds could host standoff sensing pods, decoys, or jamming payloads designed to reduce exposure for other assets by temporarily degrading opposing detection and tracking. In other words, it is a long-endurance sensor and support node built to enhance the reach and resilience of wider force networks. International analogies can help frame expectations without implying one-to-one copying. The overall silhouette invites comparison to the class of HALE stealth ISR designs sometimes depicted with 130, 170 foot spans, and to earlier flying wing demonstrators that proved advanced autonomous controls. These references simply bound the physics and control challenges. Large wing area for altitude and endurance, low signature for survivability, and sophisticated flight control laws to keep a tailless wing stable across a wide envelope. How much confidence can we draw from one overhead shot? On its own, not enough, but this image is part of a pattern. Combine the August Malan sighting with the May appearance of an even larger wing at the same base. Add late 2024 public imagery of a sizable CH-7 article, and fold in summer 2025 photographs of a large flying wing airborne elsewhere in China. The consistency across span estimates, cranked-kite shaping, and single intake layout points to a HALE stealth sensor relay platform advancing through test gates. The Malan aircraft is one tile in a broader mosaic of stealthy flying wings. At the very large end, the May 14, 2025 image showed a massive flying wing staged outside a newly built, high-security hangar complex, consistent with extreme endurance or very heavy payloads. The August 14th airframe appears slightly smaller but still HALE class, hinting at tiered development rather than a single flagship. At the same time, public-facing unveilings have kept pace. In Changchun, a twin-engine flying wing with markings tied to research organizations appeared ahead of a September 19, 2025 air show, drawing comparisons to an earlier Star Shadow concept first shown in 2018. Different engine layouts and intakes imply different mission profiles, but the family resemblance is clear. Stealthy wings designed to stay high, stay long, and stay quiet. This breadth matters because it signals an industrial base capable of iterating across sizes and roles at speed. Through 2025, multiple flying wing designs surfaced in a short span. Very large wings and satellite imagery, a slightly smaller HALE wing at Malan in August, and a twin-engine type presented publicly, all within months. That cadence, factory output, structural testing, groundwork, flight activity, and curated public showings, often precedes initial operational milestones. It suggests design, manufacturing, test, and narrative tracks moving in step. What should observers watch next? Runway scuff maps. Repeated tire marks at the same thresholds and fresh satellite passes can precede first flights. Temporary tints and cabling, short-term ground test setups hint at avionics or engine work. Security posture. If the airframe is occasionally left uncovered during known overhead windows, confidence is increasing. High-altitude contrails and spotter cues. Unusual, long-duration tracks near Malan can flag test windows even without transponder data. Network trials. Overlapping sorties by surveillance and early warning types can imply data link or sensor fusion experiments with a stealthy relay aloft. Airshow season clues. Carefully staged public articles often trail the cutting-edge prototypes by a cycle or two, but reveal design language and systems thinking. A single satellite shot won't tell you everything, but this one tells you enough. China now appears to have multiple stealth flying wing programs maturing in parallel, with Malan as a proving ground and public venues warming up the audience. The August airframe likely extends the CH-7 line toward long endurance, low observable sensing and network support, capabilities that quietly reshape how information is gathered and shared in high-threat skies. Keep your eye on Malan's runway edges, on CAS showpieces, and on how often these wings stop bothering to hide. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on space exploration and scientific discoveries, and don't forget to leave a comment below. Also, you can visit our website, spaceinews.com. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.